I'm the big man, attorney Joey Franks with Big Man Law here in Jackson, Mississippi. And today we have another video from Judge Middleton. This is actually a really interesting one, and I don't agree with some things that Judge Middleton says. Probably the first time I just outright disagree with a couple things that he says, and the prosecutor also. I don't agree with the prosecutor's position especially. But watch the video and we'll come back and talk about it.
All right, let's go back on the record, back in the matter of Ethel Marie Caldwell. Vivian, I want to put you in the waiting room for just a minute. Her microphone was kind of feeding back. All right, the file number in that case, once again, is file 241276FY. We had some extensive discussions on the record about the case. Right now, there's a misdemeanor offer. Mr. Marvin indicated that the parties had discussed the matter further. Mr. Marvin, what's the status at this point?
Well, a couple of things. I did find out the history, the criminal history. 23 years ago, there was a felony abscond conviction, and there's also an R&O, and that was around that same time. So there are actually two prior felonies. The other thing is, in talking, I went and talked to the law enforcement officers here, and I looked at criminal history. I see that there is no prior drinking charge of any kind. And for that reason, in an effort to not interfere or give her the best chance she can to continue her job, I am okay with an impaired and 2 attempt R&Os. And the three of us talked about it, and I made the offer. We discussed it for a minute, and that's it.
All right. Ms. Caldwell, impaired is different than operating while intoxicated. It is punishable by up to 93 days in jail, a fine of up to $300 rather than $500. For your case, it allows you to keep a restricted driver's license, drive back and forth to work, provided there is not some other suspension for implied consent. But impaired allows for a restricted driver's license. You understand?
Yes, sir.
All right. Are you willing to plead to those misdemeanor charges?
Yes, sir.
Other than what was said here on the record, did anyone promise you anything to get you to plead to this?
No, sir.
Or threaten you?
No, sir.
Do you understand that if you plead to these charges, and I know Mr. Bush told you some of this, there won't be a trial. There'll be no trial. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
If you had a trial, you'd have the right to be represented by an attorney. You could hire one, or one could be appointed. Mr. Bush has been appointed. If you had a trial, you could take the witness stand and testify and tell your side of the story, but you don't have to, because you have a right not to testify. And if you did not wish to testify, the judge or jury could not hold your silence against you. You have a right to have any of the witnesses for or against you subpoenaed to come to court, so they could be questioned under oath. And you have the right to be presumed innocent unless the state was able to prove your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
All right, well, let's start out with the easy part. Were you driving a car in 3 Rivers on July 13th?
Yes, sir.
Right near the main 4, it looked like. Where were you going?
I went home. I made it home.
All right, where are you coming from?
My sister, she threw a birthday party for me because I get one day off a month.
All right, where's your sister live?
On Canal Street.
So you were going to go from Canal Street to the Erie Street Apartments?
Yes, sir. I made it there.
Yeah, that was part of what the issue was. All right, had you been drinking at your birthday party?
I had a couple of shots. I smoked mostly.
All right, well, I don't know about the smoke, but your blood alcohol, Mr. Bush, was 0.114.
That's right.
What were the shots of?
Tequila. The smoke intensifies alcohol, but
Well, it may affect the results of it. So you were even more impaired than just drinking, but your blood alcohol, you're not a very big young woman. It depends on your body mass, the alcohol content of the liquor, how much you drank, how fast you drank it, how much time passed. But this is more than just a couple of shots, but 0.114 is over the legal limit of 0.08. So the police officers see you at the stoplight at the main four. They try to stop you. Tell me what happened at that point.
He didn't stop me at no light. He threw his lights on me when I turned to, I had turned into my, I don't know how to explain it. So like right here, when you coming in off of Miller, it's like beat up right there, like bad potholes. So I got tired of boom, booming in my car. So I turned over like I normally do. When my tire, bumped the curb, I thought it was normal because that's what happened when I dodged them holes. So I pull in and it's a sign right there. And he threw his lights on me. So I stopped immediately, about 50 feet from my building. And he was talking, asking me for my license registration. I said, why you pull me over? And he said, I don't know, I forgot what he said, but he asked me if I've been drinking. I said, yeah, I had a few shots. It's my birthday. And I kept saying that throughout the night. And he told me to get out the car. And I was like, why? Like I questioned him telling me to get out the car. I just knew I was gonna go to jail because I was drinking. So I'm like, well, can I pull up? And he said, no. And so I rolled my window up and I was talking to my passenger.
Who was in the car with you?
A buddy from, it's a family friend out of Illinois.
All right.
And so cracked the window and he was saying something. I started talking to him through the window. Then I just pulled like right up from where I am now to where you at and put my car in park. When I opened the door, he snatched me out. And from there, he started rubbing
No,
me
you
up.
say 50 feet, he says 50 yards. So anyway, you drove a little farther and pulled your car into a
From where I
parking
am to where you are. It's how far I pulled up to park my car.
spot.
And he towed it anyway.
He towed it?
Yeah, he had it towed.
All right.
I gave the keys to the passenger and he told the passenger to give him the keys and he was like, no, why you want them? He said, they not yours, so you can't have them. And so he made the passenger give him my keys.
All right, well, I'll take a look at this. So at any rate, you knew you were probably gonna go to jail because you'd been drinking. They followed you all the way from the main four to the parking lot and there were some issues. So at any rate, he gets you out of the car. That's when things really start to go sideways. So what happened there?
He threw me in cuffs. He had me up against his truck because I had my phone on top of his hood telling my sister that I was gonna go to jail. And when he put me in the cuffs or whatever, like he started trying to like, you know how like a person try to make the cuffs hurt your bones and stuff? He kept doing that. And I'm like, dude, why is you trying to hurt my arms and shit? I was like, you trying to break my arms. And I forgot what he said. Then he gonna say, stop trying to bite me. I said, oh, hell no, I know the fuck you didn't do that. That's exactly what I said. Then I felt like he was doing research on me or something to know what I was locked up for in the past. Because how can I bite somebody like this? And then he had my arms up like this. And I'm like, dude, you ain't gotta have my arms up that damn high. And that's what I kept telling him. I'm sure he tall.
Well, then you didn't want to go to the police car, so they you were just sort of dead weight.
That's a lie. I got in the car. And the thing, like, I did slow down because the shoes I bought for my birthday, they was a little too big for me. So my nephew made some crease shields, but the crease shield was like this hard plastic. It make your shoe fit better, but like it cut across like the top of my toe. So I wasn't going as fast, you know what I'm saying? But I wasn't not trying to get in no car, none of that. I already know the deal with officers. I'm not gonna be insubordinate or none of that, which I was slightly when I pulled my car up. But other than that, I did everything he asked me to do, and he still tried to fuck me up the whole night.
All right, well, here it says he got his arm scratched and his arm started to bleed. And then you kicked at his knee and he had some pain in his knee and scratches on his wrist.
Okay, yo, on the with that part, he kept putting my arms all the way up and I'm telling him to put them down. So with my hands like this, I was pushing down. I wasn't scratching him, I was pushing down, like trying to get him to push my arms down. And you'll see on one part of the video, I think it's when he brought me out of the station, where he had my arms way up. Like, who does that?
Your Honor, may I?
Yeah, now, is there more at the hospital or is this it?
That's it.
All right,
But I want to point something out. If we need a trial, we can do a trial. If she feels like she was wronged, I wasn't there, maybe she was wronged. Maybe a jury would listen to that. But I can tell you, my offer today was to resolve this down here, and that means that there has to be some kind of responsibility. And if
Well-
there's no responsibility, then I think this needs to be upstairs.
well, we got a scratch of his wrists, and we got when she kicked her
We've
foot.
got also a report of 2 times attempted biting.
Yes, she
So-
denies that, but I want to see what the video
But
shows.
I'm hearing denial of absolutely everything, and
Yes.
that's the problem I've got. And I don't want to ram this through. If she didn't do anything, then she shouldn't be held accountable for something she didn't do.
So
But
nobody
I
watched
also
the
can't
video?
sit here in the court today.
Just a minute.
Can
I don't
please
get to
finish?
see the video
I
until,
got it in my pocket.
well, I don't get to see it until after you enter your plea. I don't get to see the evidence beforehand. I have to wait till I either have a hearing or a plea.
So the record's complete. I have watched the video, Your Honor.
All right.
Your
Yes.
Honor,
Yes,
it puts law enforcement in a bad position in my office as well, because there's a police officer who's being disparaged right now. This isn't a trial. It's either a plea or it's not. And it becomes a circus, and it's not dignified.
so he's right, Ms. Caldwell. You're pleading to 2 counts to resist or obstruct a police officer. So far, everything you told me, none of it's your fault. Now, one thing you did do is you drove the car after he told you not to do it, whether you drove it 50 feet or 50 yards. And then you rolled up the window and wouldn't cooperate with him. When you're arrested for drunk driving, you don't get to say, I don't want to talk to you, officer. Go away. That isn't how it works. But according to this, there's quite a bit of scuffle. Now, the good news is we have a video, so I can watch it to see what transpired. But Mr. Marvin's right. You don't have to plead to anything if you don't want to. You can have a trial and see what the jurors think about it. I'm okay either way. I guess we'll call the driving the car or resisting, opposing. He did get scratched and he got kicked in the knee.
Your Honor, he kicked me in the back of my right leg.
All right, let's stop. You want to have a prelim and go to circuit court, or you gotta acknowledge that you did anything to resist or obstruct the police?
I said I would plead to this.
All right,
but
well,
you said that I would have a chance to tell you what happened.
You will. When we get to sentencing, you can tell me everything you want me to know.
Okay.
But I have to find enough facts to find that you're responsible for some resisting. Is it safe to say you didn't want to get arrested that night? It was your birthday?
I did want to go to jail, but I got out of my car. I didn't want to go. I didn't. I felt like he ruined my whole birthday and he did it on purpose. And I told him, I said, if it was another officer and they see me at home, they'd have just been like, all right, I better not catch you driving tonight or something. I told him he just wanted to ruin my birthday. So yes, I was very upset. I was cussing and everything the whole night. Crying. I was mad.
All right, well, let's talk about something. It's your own damn fault.
I know, Your Honor.
You're
That's another
driving
reason I was
drunk
mad. It felt like I was
across
done
town.
wrong.
And you're drunk and you don't have good judgment and none of it's your fault. They ruined your birthday. You had 1.5 times the legal limit to drive a car. Plus you were smoking a bunch of weed. You shouldn't have been driving a car on the public roadway. They followed you all the way from the main 4. So you had to go west on Michigan Avenue, turn down one of the streets. Millard. Well, you had to get to Millard. I'm not sure if you went down Constantine, I think it was. Then you're bumping off the curb and that sort of thing. So you have some culpability here. It's not all somebody else's fault.
I didn't say that I didn't do that.
All right, then I'm gonna accept your plea. And we're gonna watch the video. And then when it comes time to sentence, you can tell me whatever you want to tell me. The video is gonna speak for itself. It's gonna show me, hopefully, how all this went down. But he didn't go out of his way to ruin your birthday. It's just the way this all went down.
Let's just assume, I seem to be stuck in November, I'm sorry.
All right,
Judge.
October 14th, I think that's probably clear. Ms. Caldwell, I want you to take this out to the counter. Ladies will give you an appointment to come back in. Mr. Marvin, I'd like to have access to the video and any police reports, certainly any officer input.
Absolutely, yeah.
I don't know if there's a medical restitution or anything. Video police report. And Ms. Thurman, I'll be willing to hear everything you want to tell me at the time of the sentencing. And I haven't watched the video because you haven't been convicted of anything yet. Now you've entered a plea and I'll watch the video. All right, I'll see you on October 14th.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Did we say 11 o'clock?
Yeah.
11 o'clock.
All right, so the young woman, she has a DUI from her birthday, and she gets into a tussle with a police officer, which is a felony in the state of Mississippi. It'd be simple assault on a law enforcement officer. She admits to the drinking and the driving. In fact, she says, I blew a .11, I think it was 4. And on top of that, the weed made it just a little bit more potent. This was almost like listening to an intake of mine. If I could let you listen, I would. It'd be amazing, because she's telling the judge everything. This is not what you want to do. You want to say, yes, sir, no, sir, yes, your honor, no, your honor. That's your best course of action. But she objects to the tussling with the police officer, and she has some grievances against him. And the prosecutor says she's got to take responsibility, and the judge says, well, you have to give me your some reason to do this. And where I disagree with Judge Middleton quite strongly is when he tells her that she must state that she did this. She doesn't. And what I would direct you to is North Carolina v. Alford, a 1970 U.S. Supreme Court case. I'll link it down here so that you can go to it. Wikipedia actually has a really great, just quick explanation of it. It's one of the ones that popped up when I was trying to find a free place for you to get it. We use Fastcase here. Other firms may use Westlaw or LexisNexis, something like that. But it's paid for through the bar here. But Alford says that you can enter a plea of guilty while maintaining your innocence. And usually this is done under circumstances where they say, I'm still innocent, but the evidence over here says otherwise, and I think that it would be unlikely that a jury would come back and return an innocent verdict. In 10 years of practicing law, I've done one Alford plea, so I'm actually pretty familiar with it. I actually did it earlier this year. So it's a really interesting situation, and it's where I disagree with the judge. And what I really think is happening in this video is the prosecutor wants her to own up to it, and she wants to dispute it, which is her right, but he's wanting to yank the plea deal. And Judge Middleton, I think he's twisting her a little bit to get the result, and I don't agree with that. Under North Carolina v. Alford, it's a United States Supreme Court case, so it covers all the states, all the circuits. That gives her the cover to do that. She can say, I want to enter a guilty plea, but I say that I'm innocent still. So if you found this interesting or helpful, give me a thumbs up. Tell me what you think, whether or not Judge Middleton did the right thing, and subscribe to the channel. Also, there will be some commentary here shortly on something going on here in Lexington, Mississippi. Turns out the Department of Justice does not like how the Lexington Police Department's been treating some folks. So we'll link that whenever we get that up, but I got to get that together. So hope y'all are having an awesome day, and I will catch y'all later.